Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing my hair, so it's probably going to be a pretty big job.
You can see what it looks like now. It's pretty faded and grown out.
Oh, my hair is gross right now.
It is gross. Okay, so if you look at her hair, it's pretty grown out. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep a pretty similar color placement. She does want to be more blonde. We are going to keep a little bit of these the dark showing through, but we're gonna add a lot more blonde to the perimeter. And people have asked what was the placement we used to keep it more dense of blonde in the front, so we're gonna do a little bit of that as well.
So basically I want to be light around the face, so we're going to use a variety of different techniques. So what we used in the front is that we have kind of right around the face more of an ombre foil, and then what we're going to do to pull the back the blonde up is we're going to kind of do a mix of kind of ombres and balayage. So basically we're going to be doing some weave patterns, we're going to be doing some slices, and then we're going to leave some of the dark like Jessica had said.
So stay tuned for our sectioning pattern. So we're going to start with the front. Basically we kept about an inch and a half of what we're going to keep around the front. We're going to make predominantly blonde, so she's nice and blonde around the face, and then we just sectioned it into 4 quadrants. Here in the front, we're not going to stagger the amount of dark too much because we just want it, we're going to maybe stagger it within an inch of difference. We're going to bring it up to about there, so about an inch and a half to 2 inches of dark from her face. You be careful not to paint over the blonde that's already there. So that one I left about a couple inches. This one I'm going to leave a little bit more dark than that. About 2.5 inches. This one I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches. And this is the last section, so I'm going to leave maybe about 3 inches of dark because now we want it to blend and flow with the rest of the back of the head, which is going to have more dark in it. And then we're just going to follow this foil pattern all the way around the front of the face. So, something I did a little differently on the very top foil, because this is what you're going to see when her hair is down. At the top, I kept about 2 inches to 1.5 inches of the amount of dark that's there, and then on the bottom there's about 3 inches, so it's going to progressively get more dark and have more of a shadow as she comes down to the lower part by her ear. I realized you probably really couldn't see what I was doing on the other side, so I'm going to demonstrate it again on this side. So same thing. I'm going to keep about 2 inches of dark. You should get all those little flyaway sideburn hairs. This one I'm going to probably keep about that much dark, so 3.5 inches. This section I'll keep probably about 2 inches of dark. And this one I'm going to keep, again, probably about like that much dark. To do, and we're going to do this the same. I'm going to keep the top probably as this side, so they mirror about 2 inches-ish of dark, and then the rest will be the same. So now that the front is done, this is the remainder of the section from the front section from over top of the ear. We're just going to leave that out so that we have a layer, a small layer of dark that's going to drape over the blonde. And then back here, We really want to stagger the amount of blonde that's putting in and not by a little bit. So you can see, so this piece, I'm going to keep predominantly brown actually. I'm only just going to do the very tips blonde so it casts, the ends blonde so it casts a lot of darkness in the underneath. Just the very tips like that. And we're going to be trimming our hair, so I just remember that you're going to be cutting a little bit of that off. We're going to alternate between slices and weave, so that was a slice. So we're going to do a little weave on this one. And I'm going to paint it maybe to about there, like 2/3 of the, just over half of the strand, half will be up. And you want to remember what you did, what you started with, so that you can mirror it on the other side. So I started with slices, so I'm going to make sure I start with slices on the other end too. This one we're going to do is a slice as well. I'm going to do it maybe like 1/3 of the hair strand and angling backwards at a 45. This one we're going to weave. I'm going to do a little bit of a smaller weave. So when you're doing this, you really want to visualize the amount of dark that you're going to see draping through. So this one that's starting to get pretty heavy, I'm going to bring this weave up a little bit higher. The other thing for the slices too, you want to make sure that your sections are thin enough that you're not going to leave too much, but you don't need to necessarily make sure that it's 100% saturated all the way through, because sometimes underneath, if it's a little darker up there, it looks like a nice shadow. So I'm just going to continue this foiling pattern all the way up the head until we get to at the top, the widest part of the head. So here in this section it's supposed to be a slice, and actually there's a little bit of blonde left here, and I like actually how little there is, or how much there is. So I'm going to leave this section out. I'm going to go to my next section, and this is going to be a weaved section. And I'm going to bring it up a little higher, so this one I'm going to do a finer weave as well. Now a trick you can do for the ends, if you want to make if their ends are strong enough and some of them look like they're not quite as light, you can what you can do is just fold them into the foil, don't actually cover them with lightener, and just from touching it, it'll give it that little bit of an extra bump that it will need. So now when you're just above the widest point of the head, we want to break it up, but we still want to see a lot of that dark coming through so that it doesn't look like, we want to see a lot of the contrast. So what I've been doing up here is I'm alternating thin sections. One section I'm just going to do a baby fine weave and not colored underneath. With this next section, I'm going to do a weave. So I'm not doing any slices up top anymore because I don't want them to be too, I want it to be predominantly dark. So Veronica, how excited are you for your new color?
I'm very excited.
Long overdue. It's very
long. It's been a long time since I've done my hair, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Always busy in the salon. We sometimes neglect our own hair.
Not purposely though. Just through time. So this one, we're going to do another fine weave. And we're going to bring this up just a little higher than the last amount of blonde there was. So this one I'm going to bring the blonde up a lot higher so that it can really see through. This is going to be a weave as well. And again, you want to think about what you did in the other quadrant so that the amount or the height of blonde can mirror each other. So this section is going to be a fine weave. Again, these ones I'm going to bring up higher. And then the top section, I like it to always have one little veil of a baby light. There. Now we're all done. So if you want to try to visualize, all this will be dark. Yeah. We're gonna check it in 18 minutes and we'll see where we're at. So her natural color is pretty much between a 1 and a 2, so we did go ahead and put 4.1 in J. Beverly Hills with 30 vol, 1 to 1.5 on all of her roots. If we look at the front foils now, they're pretty blonde, but the front still needs, or the roots still need to finish processing, so we're just going to take out the ones right around her face and just spray them down so they stop processing. So here it is washed out. Truthfully, we forgot to record this part before we toned it. It's already starting to tone out, so you couldn't really see how warm it was, but it is really warm. This side, you can see some of the warm pigment coming through. We mixed the toner to be 1/3 8.29 and 2/3 9.522 in Schwarzkopf, and I added 4 grams of steel blue just to cut a little bit of this like really deep warm stuff. We're going to leave the toner on for a full 30 minutes.
So I'm just going to prep my hair. I'm going to use the Replenish oil because we've done lightening. This is your best friend. For everyone that's doing any sort of heat styling or coloring, Replenish is the perfect product because it replenishes the hair of all its nutrients, adds shine to it so the color just pops out a little bit more. Makes the hair super silky soft. Okay. Focus on the ends and then replenish, or sorry, and then protect, heat protect it. We're gonna spray a layer in before we blow dry and then as well before we flat iron and curl. Okay.
So here you can see what her color looks like straight. It's a heavier density of blonde in the front. That panel of brown that breaks it up. And then just what it looks like throughout. Now we're going to curl it for you too so that you can see what it looks like both ways.
Alright, so my hair is all done now and styled, so love the color. What I'm gonna do is, now that my hair is like freshly washed and it's curled, it's super soft looking. I personally like a little bit more of a crisp, smooth, shiny kind of curl, so this doesn't look bad, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in one of my favorite products, Smooth. It's our split end mender, it also tames flyaways, kind of defrizzes the hair. Gonna put that in and you guys can watch the magic. So watch the magic. That was Jessica there doing some commentary in the background. Okay.
Ooh, looks good.
Now you can see how it transforms that look now. Still has that soft romantic look, but it just looks completely polished. And good to go.
So if you want the exact how-to guide of how to achieve this color step by step, take a look at this link below and we will send it out to you.
Yeah, we had probably 4 or 5, a bunch of different techniques in there, so we'll give you all the formulations and everything in there. Leave a comment below if you guys have any questions. Let us know. Let us know what you guys want to see, and we'll be making tons of videos, so we'll see you next Friday.